Hello friends and enemies, welcome back to Happy for Now. I'm so excited for this. I'm following up my favorite tropes with my least favorite things in books slash tropes. I was like racking my brain for the things I don't like in books, and it's a really small list actually, which is kind of exciting. I feel like I'm pretty open to just about everything and anything. Like, we obviously know I have some things I like that aren't in a lot of books, and that's okay. Like, we all have that thing we want in a book. But what about the things we don't want in a book? And that list is a lot smaller for me. I think I can deal with more things than I ever thought I could, or would like things more than I thought I could, depending on the author, right? Because there's authors who I trust and will deliver, who will really deliver on a trope that I maybe think I don't like. So that trope is probably the least favorite trope for everyone in romance, I feel like. I don't know, I know there's a select few people who like love this trope. And if you love this trope, I want you to give me suggestions, because I don't feel like I've read any true secret babies. That's the trope, secret baby. I think it makes sense if the main character is running away from a bad guy who's the father, maybe. Maybe there's like, they're in the mafia, I don't know, just something like that. Or like, I feel like one night stand and a surprise baby, like, shocker, you didn't use protection, of course you have a baby. I'm actually reading a baby book right now, like a pregnancy one, but I just like, I don't think I've read a secret baby I liked yet. Or have I just avoided them so completely? Should I do a reading the trope secret baby? I don't know. Y'all let me know in the comments for real though. Like, do you like secret baby? Like, what is the appeal? I know everybody's got messy family. Like, I get that part of it. There's all kinds of stuff. But I just have no interest in secret baby. But on that note, we also know I don't love kids in books. I do like governess books as usually, and some nanny ones, but I am very quick to comment when I feel like children in a book aren't well done. And I think it's harder to do kids good in a book, like have them be realistic and not obnoxious, than it is to do them, like, that's way harder. I think the authors that I've read from that do that do a really good job, but I think a lot also just like shove a kid in there to have an extra plot point. Some of my favorite books are single parent romances, but I feel like those are books that have a lot of other things going on beyond them being a parent. I think that might also be key, is I want people to have identities outside of their children, because they deserve that. They're humans too, they're not just a parent. Okay, so secret baby, kids. Okay, here's a good one. Cheating. So I don't like cheating in books. I think there's no real reason for it. Why wouldn't you just break up before? I don't think that I've read cheating in a book and liked it, to be honest. It's usually something that makes me not pick up something. Like, I think I tried to read a Krista and Becca Ritchie book that had cheating in it, and I just was like, I'm out. I don't like this. I think it was them. I may have the totally wrong author. It's been years, but if I know there's cheating in a book, I'm done. And I mean like blatant cheating. Like, maybe they're talking to somebody and they break up. That's fine. I can deal with that. But I'm talking about like they get it on, emotional, like there's more to it than like them talking to someone. Oh, okay. Another thing I really don't like in books is when there's no payoff. So I read a book a few years ago that looked like a romance, turned out to be a Christian women's fiction mystery historical. The cover had no indication of this. Blurb read like a romance. At the end of the book, she kissed him. Y'all, I did not read 300 and some pages for just a kiss. No, absolutely not. I do not read a book for just a kiss. That's not a thing I do in my life. I am not a crock-pot reader. I am an Instapot girl. Give me that burn, give it to me fast. First page they're banging, awesome. I'm here for it. I don't like it when a book does not have a payoff. So that doesn't say I'd never read slow burns, because I do read slow burns and I like an angsty romance sometimes, okay? But if you're gonna put me through like 300 plus pages of a book and all they do is kiss at the end, I'm out. You're done. You're off my author list. And Why? Just why? Like, don't write something that looks like romance if you're not gonna give me some payoff. I need more than a little fade to black also. Like, there's gotta be something before that. I can't just fade to black, like they kissed and fade to black either. I need payoff. I'm a dirty girl and I want my books dirty, okay? Like, that's just how it is. And yeah, when there's no payoff, if I find out there's no payoff before I finish the book, I will DNF it, because I'm not here for that. I'm not reading romances for lack of payoff. I mean, I'm not reading them necessarily for just that, but there's got to be payoff. Got to be payoff. Ooh, okay. So on the payoff note, I don't love books with, so I like consent, non-consent, but I can be questionable on dubious consent situations in books. I don't always like those. It has to be an author I trust, or it has to be a book that I know is setting out as a dynamic for, like a kink dynamic basically happening in the book, like a BDSM dynamic, so that I can believe things are already set in place, such as Desperate Measures, which is consent, non-consent, because her safe word isn't no. But I need that like kind of laid out to me in the book a little more. I don't like it when that's not there. I think it can be a really hard thing to deal with. And I just don't like it, because we don't need that in books. On that note, I also don't like when we use rape as a reason for like something that happened, as like a driving point of something that happened in their life, because I think we often throw around rape in romances as a damage thing and don't really fully go into the healing of that and what that's like, much less what it's like after you've gone through it. Personally, unsurprisingly, like a lot of women have experienced it, so I just think sometimes in romance it's too cavalier and it's not discussed in a healthy way. So yeah, I don't love when there's rape in books, because why? How am I supposed to root for a hero or a love interest who doesn't respect boundaries? Also, how am I supposed to root for the heroine when like all we're doing is shaming her around this? Gosh, I hope this makes sense. I know it's a really weird thing. I just feel like we often get like ham-fisted attempts at a heroine who has experienced this trauma and aren't really diving into it. I hope that makes sense. That may not, and I may cut all of that, but if it's here, hopefully I made sense. I just think it's a serious topic that we don't always take seriously enough in books. On a more fun note, something I hate, so y'all may remember I did not like Waiting for Tom Hanks by Carrie Winfrey at all. I do have not liked the movies to read and I want to read it, but I'm nervous. I actually was more interested in the second book once I read the first one, because I liked those characters more. But that book for me, like Waiting for Tom Hanks, was so many pop culture references to be like, oh, look at me, I know all the things about this. And it just was like, ma'am, please stop. I don't need a reference about Tom Hanks every page. It's in the title of your book. We don't need that every page. I just think too many pop culture references can also date a book in a weird way. So yeah, I just don't love it. See, what else don't I like? Ooh, okay, so I'm not a big fan of miscommunication when it's really juvenile. So I think about things like You Deserve Each Other by Sarah Hogle. One of the reasons I didn't like it is I felt like their miscommunication issue was very juvenile and not being handled well. I totally get why people love it, because it is just like The Hating Game for me. It's that book, like it's the popular book that I'm like, no thank you. Because I just don't love that kind of miscommunication. And then being like really shitty to someone you like is just such like, it's like excusing boys will be boys to me when you let people get away with behaviors like that, because we're just reinforcing the stereotype of boys will be boys. They're gonna pull on your hair when they like you. And I do not like that at all. What else? Enemies to lovers is probably the hardest subgenre? No. Enemies to lovers is the hardest trope to find one I like. I think I tend to like bully romances because I feel like there's more dynamic happening, but also I just think enemies to lovers is near impossible to pull off in a good capacity. I want more of it. I think that, so I do think Sarah McLean's Daring and the Duke did a pretty good job pulling off enemies to lovers of sorts, but there was a lot of history there, and I think for enemies to lovers, for me, for it to work, I need that background story of why they're enemies. And then, like, you know, what I really like is when it, like, when it's not just straight enemies to lovers, it's like enemies to kind of friends, and then, oh god, I like you. That's when it works for me. When it's just straight enemies to lovers out of nowhere, I can't do it. There's other things I don't like. Oh, so another thing I don't love in books, I don't like to read about cops, really, or firefighters. It's just not my thing. I don't know why. I just have never really been into that. I don't like authority figures. Are my punk rock roots showing when I'm like, I don't like cops in books and I don't like that stuff? Probably. I was a punk in high school, y'all. Like, there's no avoiding this. I don't like authority figures. So I don't like books about cops and firefighters. I have to have them vetted by a lot of people for me to read them, to be honest with you. That's usually how I do it. And I think one other thing that may be surprising, may not, is I don't really like military romances. I lived that life for 4 years. I think there are authors out there that are doing it good and doing a good job with it, and I think have it down. But for every one of those, there's like 10 authors that just like cannot write it realistically. And it's kind of like if you do something and they show it on TV, like in a TV show or a movie, and you're like, that's not how that works. That's not how that works. That's not how that works. That's how I feel whenever I read military romances. I'm like, that's not accurate. That's not accurate. That's definitely not how it works. And then I'm like, but, you know, also whatever, this, you know, outfit's wrong, or same thing happens on TV. It's like, that's wrong. That uniform is totally, like, this is what's wrong with it. And I know they have to like mess it up for TV, but you just like, your brain, we're not far enough removed, I guess, for my brain to like be able to process it and enjoy it, maybe. Also, like, that whole time in our lives was very traumatic in a lot of ways. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, it's very traumatic to do that job at times, depending on what you're doing, etc. There's just a lot. Just a lot that goes into that, so I don't necessarily want to read about it, which sucks, because I know, like, I really want to read Rebecca Yarros, but I'm out here like not doing it. The other thing I don't like, which I kind of talked about in my favorite tropes, is celebrity books. I like celebrity adjacent, and I will read a rock star, we know this, and that's not to say like I'll never pick them up. I will, but rarely are celebrity books my favorite. I really liked You Had Me at Ola this year, which is a standout because they're both actors. But like I said in my favorite tropes video, I'm not looking to ever be famous. Like, and I know that's a weird concept, obviously, being on a YouTube channel where I talk about books, but like, this is different than like on TV famous. Does that make sense? I mean, I say this, but like, I guess it maybe isn't anymore, but it feels different to me. So I'm less like adverse to it. I just don't have that urge in my life. I've never wanted to be like known. I don't like the idea of going out and being recognized by people in my day-to-day life. Maybe like, maybe it would be different, you know, I don't know. I've experienced this with my partner being recognized when he was doing more stuff with the band pre like coronavirus, and I don't like, okay, this feels like a humble, but it's not. Like, it's just weird to me. Like, it weirds me out. Like, if we go to a concert, people come talk to him, and it's weird. Like, it weirds me out. It's just not something I want to do. And he's like, we're like the opposite. Like, I'm introverted and he's extroverted, so it's fine for him. Like, he doesn't care. Like, literally does not care. Chillest person in the world. And I'm out here like, stranger. It's weird, y'all. I don't want to be I don't know. So fame to me like has like no real appeal unless, again, it's very like specific things like I like I talked about in my most favorites. So go check that out if you're curious about what I mean when I say I like fame adjacent stuff. Again, I'm also reading a book right now as I film this that is about someone who's kind of famous, but it's like a very specific niche down item in that category that I do like. I think that's all the things I don't like in books. I don't feel like it's a big list. Let me know some of the things you don't like in books. I think it's really interesting. I love hearing about things that I don't like and other people love, etc. because I just think it's all in what you read and how you talk about it, right? So I think it's fun to be able to be like, these are the things I don't like. So when I talk about these things in a book and why I didn't like it, y'all know like, okay, yeah, cool, she's not gonna like that. Yeah, all right, I'm gonna call it here. Drop a sad face emoji in the comments. No, don't, I mean, you can, I don't care, but drop a smiley face emoji because this just feels super negative and I hate it. But yeah, drop a smiley face emoji for me in the comments if you want to. If not, like I said, share your least favorite tropes slash things you don't like in books. I post videos 3 days a week. You can hit that subscribe button to know whenever those go up. Usually it is Sunday, Tuesday, or Thursdays. You can also subscribe for more romance content because that is what I'm here to talk about 99.9% of the time. And what else is going on? You can check in the description box for links to all of my social medias, including Goodreads, Discord, and Twitter and Instagram. Oh my gosh, Isabel, you know what platforms you're on. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and I will talk to you later. Bye! I don't know how to do this anymore. Hello friends and enemies, I'm here with Peace. For now, I'm sure this won't last very long, but she is feeling her neediness, so we're gonna hold her like a little baby that she is.